There are some flights that have no destination. They are simply an endless mystery. The night of March 8th, 2014. This is the night when all of humanity's science, all its technical control, failed against something that had no name. Malaysia Airlines, Flight MH370. Don't just consider it a plane number. It is the biggest unsolved enigma of the modern age. This was a huge Boeing 777 plane. That night, it was supposed to fly from the bright, warm sky of Kuala Lumpur to the cold, vast city of Beijing. Inside the plane were 239 people, with their dreams, with their hopes for tomorrow. They all thought everything was normal. But that night, fate, or some even greater power, chose a path for them that was on no map, one that no radar had ever seen. Exactly at 12:42 a.m., the plane left the Kuala Lumpur airport runway. Takeoff was completely normal. Communication between the cockpit and air traffic control was perfectly clear, professional, and routine. As the plane reached its cruising height, the lights of the world below became smaller, becoming fainter. 1:19 a.m. This was the last moment MH370 was under human control. The plane was about to enter Vietnamese airspace. Malaysian ATC said that they should now communicate with Ho Chi Minh City ATC. In response, the voice of Captain Zahari Ahmad Shah was heard. "Good night, Malaysian 370. That was it, the last words. It was the last proof that the plane was still connected to our world until that moment. But exactly at 1:21 a.m., everything changed. Suddenly, without any warning, MH370's transponder, the device that sends the plane's identification and location to radar, switched off. This was an electronic suicide. A large chunk of metal in the sky vanished from the radar screen in an instant. Its name, its speed, its altitude, everything became zero. Investigators argued for years whether this was a machine fault or a human conspiracy. But one thing was absolutely clear. This disappearance, this silence, was deliberate. Satellite data revealed a strange thing. The plane took a sharp turn toward the west, abandoning its destination and turning back toward Malaysia. This is the point where the story of MH370 turned into a mystery movie. But this turn was not part of any terrorist plan. It was not a pilot's depression. It was a massive trick of time. MH370 flew toward the South Corridor, but it wasn't heading toward the dark waters of the South Indian Ocean, as the world feared. It was heading to another place. It turned toward the unknown, unseen, and unheard of timeline, about which our science knows nothing to this day. Inside the plane, passengers were in a deep sleep. No one had any idea that their journey had now turned into a time travel event. Among those 239 people was Adam, a young filmmaker who always kept his small camera close. The other was Lucia, a technical journalist whose eyes sought a data point in everything. Both were going to Beijing, but they were unknowingly about to become witnesses to an event that would turn history upside down. As the plane came over the Indian Ocean, it touched an invisible cut in the fabric of space that scientists call a quantum node. This was the place where the gravity of time was at its lowest. Suddenly, a deep blue light spread from the cockpit to the entire cabin. This was not lightning. This was not normal light either. It was a light without any source, which seemed to see through everything. A very strong tremor occurred in the plane. This was not a storm's jolt. It was the sound of time itself tearing apart. Passengers felt weightless for just 1 second, as if they had exited Earth's gravity. They were in a strange void where there was no yesterday and no tomorrow. And then, everything became completely silent. When the passengers opened their eyes next, the plane was still flying. The low sound of the engines was still heard. But the sky outside the window and the world below had completely changed. It was still night outside, but the city below was unlike any normal city. This city was floating in the air. This was not a dream. Big, shining, pyramid-shaped structures, not made of concrete, but of a transparent glowing. Around every structure was a green-blue energy shield that kept them suspended above the ground. MH370 had taken a huge jump, an 85-year jump. It was now in the airspace of the year 2099. Adam and Lucia, who were awake, were the first to see this frightening and amazing scene. Lucia, whose